Hey guys, it's Josh of Smoking Anywhere for Pennies, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a few safety things with building your own coils, using the right batteries, just a little bit of everything. So you want to make sure you're safe whenever you're using basically after an ego battery. You want to make sure that you're using the right batteries, you're using the right coils, you're using the right mods. You just really want to be safe with electronic cigarettes. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be talking to you about is batteries. These are probably the biggest part of safety that you really have to know if you're building your own coils and using a mechanical mod. It's just really choosing the right battery for you. What I'm holding in my hand, this is an AW18350 battery, 700 mAh. The amperage on it I think is right around 3 or 4 amps, which is not very high, but this is pretty much a good battery. This is I mean, it's nice. There's no tears in it or anything. It's a new battery, and it works pretty well. Now, I would not use this if you're using anything less than 0.5 ohms, but this is a good battery in good condition. Now, here is an AW-IMR battery that I've had for a couple years now. I use it with the ZMAX Pro Vari. This is a big no-no. This is something you do not want to use. Alright, reason being, when you can tell that these batteries are no longer supposed to be used, one thing, you'll start to see the actual numbers and letters wear off of it. Another, a lot of batteries will eventually get this buildup right here in top, which is, it can make it pretty dangerous for vaping. And then the biggest no-no that's obvious are these little tears right here. Whenever you start seeing these little tears in these batteries, you want to throw them away. I mean, if you want to keep them, you can keep them, but do not put them inside of your electronic cigarette. Another thing I want to talk to you about is actually what size battery you're using for the right device. Alright, as you can see right here, I'm using two iHybrids. Now, these are both Genesis atomizers, so and they are, I don't have them wicked up right now, but as you can see right there in the hole, it is made for only one coil. Now, when you have one coil, your resistance is generally higher. With these things, I'll generally get about, I don't know, about 1.1 ohms resistance. Okay, so you see the difference between these is actually the body length. The reason being is because this one, the iHybrid Celtic, whatever you want to call it, I'm using a 18650 battery in. Now this one right here, I'm actually using a 18350 battery in. Now you'll see a lot of mods, they'll come with stuff like this where you can make it a bigger mod for a bigger battery, but if you are building your own coils, I do suggest actually using an 18650 battery or maybe even an 18500 battery. But as far as you know, just single coils, you can use the 18350s, but the bigger the battery, generally the safer you are. Say you're using something like this. This is a Nimbus rebuildable atomizer, or actually a Trident rebuildable atomizer on top of my Meraxes. Okay, what I'm getting out of this, I have two coils, so I'm starting to get into really low resistance, basically low ohms. This one is actually reading 0.5 ohms, and once you get to this point, you do not want to use these little 18350 batteries. Reason being is because the amperage level in them is generally a lot lower than an 18650 battery. One thing most people that are building their own coils generally know, usually anything below 1.2 ohms will not fire on anything besides a variable voltage mod. Okay. But there is one thing that you should do right after building your coils. Instead of just throwing it on the mechanical mod and just starting to vape, you should put this either on an ohms reader, or what I do, I usually put it on top of a variable voltage mod. In this case, I'm using a Vamo. and then from here you can actually check your resistance. I've got the atomizer on top of my Vamo now, so all I'm going to have to do, there is a resistance check button, but usually on a variable voltage mod, if you just hit the power button, it'll automatically tell you the resistance, basically saying it cannot fire. So this is a 0.4 ohm coil right here. Last but not least, the biggest no-no of all. You never want to put anything from, say, Radio Shack, Lowe's, Target, anywhere like that, anything that looks like this, or you get that is not specifically made for an electronic cigarette, don't put it in your electronic cigarette. There's going to be a big chance of it shorting out. I mean, even if you're not purchasing from Smoke Anywhere for pennies, this is a big no-no. All right, I'm just using a AA battery, which obviously is not going to fit in something like this, but you get the point. Okay, so now that we know everything's safe, it's time for a good vape. So for me and Ray Allen, happy vaping.